play the StarLadder?
He could, yeah. I think more often than not, VGJ do it as a support starter.
I gotta agree with you, man. I mean, that amount of hold too that Axe has with Call is great with Centaur. Nobody can run.
Yeah.
You put down that damage.
It kind of it feels like it goes, but they stick with the
man.
Underlord
Oh,
pick.
wow. Sheeber,
You know, I don't really know. Like last game, it didn't impress me. You know, I saw good things before the patch from RTK Underlord. Heard great things. Oh, RTK Underlord, super excited, and it's like, oh, RTK Underlord.
10 seconds remaining.
It didn't impress me, but it was more like I feel like it wasn't. He didn't let me down. Like it was more the rest of the lineup let the Underlord down in some ways.
44% win rate, but this is all the group stage games and the qualifier stages and.
Oh, even worse now is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And 72 matches.
That's a lot of matches.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, he was very big. I mean, there's a reason he got nerfed.
Exactly.
He was good. But I mean, it's all about how you use it. You know, I feel like they didn't utilize it as well as they could have. We didn't see a lot of disruptor being paired up with those great pits. So I don't know. I mean, Warlock does keep the boys in that pit for a bit. Huh? Good work.
True. The synergy is there. The team fight's there. The only problem right now is that Centaur is just gonna let's see VGJ is gonna go for that team fight, right? They got everything going, and then Centaur presses R, and either they're not taking a lot of damage while they're in the pit, or they just run away.
They're literally just out of it.
They're literally just out.
Well, yeah, Sheeves, you make a good argument, but come on.
When we saw previous game, how well Team Liquid's able to dodge fight and basically work around to have the exact fight that they want to get.
Sure. But there was a big difference. Where's the vision coming out from Team Liquid, you know?
True.
They got Dazzle, they got Rubik. Those two gotta buy wards. No one does that in pro games. So they definitely need somebody.
Sure.
Still kind of looking towards the mid lane. Still a Shadow Fiend and a TA in the pool, and both teams have got that armor reduction. That could complement those high physical DPS nicely.
OD, like last time we got to like that last pick and both teams needed a mid and all the mids were banned out except for a few rare ones.
There's more options this time around.
That's why we end up with a Terrorblade mid, but it worked out fantastic. But I want to say that VGJ may pick their mid and then ban out like a counter or ban out another mid because the mid pull is a bit more limited with some of the bans on Invoker, Storm. As for Liquid, could go either way as far as whether they want to pick the carry or the mid here.
Up there we
pick up
go.
the Lifestealer themselves.
Definitely a bit of a block as well, as you've been mentioning, Gods. I think taking it away from VGJ, not letting them have that StarLadder combination.
Pretty good matchup against the Underlord. They got a decent amount of damage. The laning stage is very good. It means the supports can roam around. This is another game where if there's similar to game 1, if the supports want to like pressure mid, go for the early kills onto freeze, they can because Lifestealer 1v1's just fine against Underlord.
Yeah, it's very good against the kind of the aura as well. A lot of the times you don't really want to be building necessarily an agi carry against the Underlord because of that aura. That normally they're going to be building the stat items. Lifestealer, he's going to be he doesn't build stat item. He builds the Deso, the armlet, and then Basher, MKB, and such. It's going to be these items that the aura's not going to affect.
So I think you see Lifestealer, you think, how do we kite him around? They haven't got the best kiting heroes. I mean, StarLadder's not bad, but like they haven't got like a good 4-star buyer. Underlord typically wants like the mech, the pipes. He doesn't really want to go 4-star, although he may opt to against something like a Lifestealer. But mid laners like Shadow Fiend become more appealing against Lifestealer. It's because you've got high armor, you're a bit more resilient to the physical damage. You can go into that Hurricane Pike for that kiting capabilities as well. Not sure how Freeze plays the Shadow Fiend, if that's something he's considering or not, but similarly, Shadow Fiend's great I think for both teams here. Liquid Miracle plays a fantastic one, and it pairs up well with the Lifestealer as far as amping up his physical damage. Don't really want to see single carry Lifestealers these days, or any days.
Oh no!
Same duo.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very similar looking draft to the last time.
I mean, they do have that Warlock when, game 1 Fenrir did pull out some big golems. So that could have been the missing factor that they didn't have in that game 2 with, as you said, three of the same heroes that we're seeing here in game 3.
There were some amazing slows as well.
Yeah.
So in terms of kiteability, again though, Centaur is still going to be Centaur, but if he doesn't have his ultimate, then at least there's a second hit.
Yeah, and it's a hero as well that, if the Lifestealer and Ursa are on the same level of farm, it's very hard for the Lifestealer to outman fight an Ursa.
Feels like they're just also sticking to their guns. They want to have playing an aggressive hero. Like it's his style. It's always has been going back to his CDC days on gyrocopters, whatever it may be, like the Ursa, the Lifestealer. These are the kind of heroes that suit his playstyle and let him shine.
Well, I'll be interested to see if they can make it work. I mean, I talked a lot of smack about that Ursa. Now I'm a little nervous. I mean, they're pretty confident in that, so could be working out for him here.
So I would imagine that we're missing a freeze hero on the side of ViCi J. Timbersaw gets removed. Does it say anything about what Liquid might pick up?
Another right-click hero that doesn't match up well against Timber. I don't know, it could be the Shadow Fiend, I guess. It's like not that Timber can necessarily counter Shadow Fiend, but it's a kind of right-click hero that Timber has good armor against. But
10 seconds remaining.
Understandable that Tinker gets removed. We've been talking a lot about the Tinker already, and the Shadow Fiend gets picked up by ViCi J.
Yeah, great call, and really does add a lot of that right-click damage.
I really feel that's what Liquid wanted as well. So they were probably thinking,
sure.
like when they saw the Tinkerbell, they're like, "Ooh, we're gonna get Shadow Fiend," but
I think
now they're gonna react and
I guess we're looking at like maybe TA or OD.
yeah, TAOD both.
Could they pull out the Ember Spirit? I mean, you have kind of that dazzle backup, so you're kind of secured that safe trip home.
Sniper.
Sniper. Very interesting. I mean, obviously in the mid lane, you're going to be able to control the SF for those shrapnel.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm excited, man. I love to see a sniper game. I mean, he's coming back into the meta. I feel like we've all healed from the sniper
I'm
troll
not sure
days.
if everybody healed.
Not everybody. Some are still outliers, but man.
People are remembering them these days with the Lone Druids. Like,
Right.
it's coming back.
I mean, that's worse. So, yeah. I'm excited, man. This is going to be a hell of a match. These two mirror teams, one of those mirrors is going to shatter, and new guy will come out. It's pretty much Terrorblade's lore. It's going to be tight.
Do we feel like these drafts are a little bit even? Or would you favor one of the
I
two?
like Liquids. I'm not convinced that I'm kind of with Slacks. I'm like dubious about the Ursa pick. It's
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I'm not sure how well it's going to do. It gets Kaida, there's a Dazzle, there's a Rubik, good supports to deal with the Ursa, good supports to help the Sniper win the mid lane against Shadow Fiend. I like Liquid's draft a bit better.
All right, well, we are going to find out what is going to happen this third game. Who is going to move on to the winners bracket finals of this group? It is over to Lyrical and Merlini.
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed the break, we had a little bit of time to recover after those first couple of crazy games. But we're now here back in game number 3. Of course, Team Liquid facing off against ViCi J. Merlini, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with the panel that the Ursa is a little bit dubious? Are you concerned at all for aggressive?
I would not want to be playing Ursa in this matchup at all.
I mean, he does have a cool set, though. We did comment on that earlier, but I don't know if that's going to make up for the fact that, I mean, how do you deal with the Centaur just running away from you?
How are you going to get to a sniper? How do you deal with Grave?
Yeah.
How do you deal with a lot of things in this game? It's not easy for an Ursa, but it is possible. I think a lot of this is on FY onto StarLadder. He needs to be able to find his blink at an appropriate timing because he's the lockdown. He's pretty much the most reliable lockdown that they have that they can actually like kill people very, very early on. Like Root can just get raged off. Most of the other things can get Centaur ulted away from, like Upheaval and whatnot, Earthshock. So I think StarLadder needs to have a good game in this series, or in this final game, if ViCi want to take this series.
All right. Well, the horn is going to sound, and it looks like triple runes. Everybody's just going to head off, pick up their owns, and then go to lane.
I have healed from the Sniper days, by the way. Really. I think that Sniper days is way worse than Lone Druid days, or Lone Druid currently. Like, that was miserable.
You know what it is? It's the voice. That's what really gets you.
This voice is
it's awful.
acceptable.
It's the worst.
The
bad.
hero was just like, okay, you get Mask of Madness and you just destroy people.
Yeah.
Like, Lone Druid takes minor finesse now. You have to be able to press your Savage Roar button sometimes. You have to micro your bear like a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to switch in and out of bear form sometimes.
No, just a click. Well, and Miracle already going to have a little bit of issues as FY is just going to roam in and...
Nah, StarLadder he's not great at this sort of thing. He's not an ogre.
No.
He does have boots though, but you know, no stout, no innately high regen, not super high armor, so he is just not the tankiest hero in the mid lane, and StarLadder is actually heading down towards the bottom and maybe trying to, I'm not exactly sure what FY is trying to do right here. Well, maybe he might get a couple of right clicks on Miracle right here.
Yeah.
Boom!
This is actually pretty typical, I think, of ViCi J, is that they'll send FY mid just to make sure that Freeze at least doesn't get completely demolished in the first couple waves.
That's true. He will get a few souls, so that is quite nice.
But maybe losing out on what could be a bigger gain elsewhere. We'll see if it ends up coming back to haunt them at all. But this dual lane going on as well as they pull back in. ROTK gonna try for some body blocks. Matumba Man throws out the open wounds as well, and he's taking a lot of damage here. If they manage to find the block, they can't possibly get the kill. He's so low, they do end up finding it. Salve used as well.
Lightstone making a fairly big difference there, I would say. And ROTK already TPing back.
Mind Control also has taken some damage over here. Yeah, it was pretty impressive, the body blocking coming in while keeping the right clicks going from the Lifestealer. Good stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, jeez.
He died in the exact same way.
Really? Just pull back in and open wounds as well.
Yep. Yeah, that's ROTK for you sometimes.
And he doesn't have a TP now either to come back to lane, so he's gonna have to walk the whole way.
Oh my goodness, 3 range creeps. No, not that. That's an offlaner's worst nightmare. You're just watching them die. Is he? I don't think he's gonna get there for any of them.
Oh jeez.
Okay, he might get there for like 2 of them. I'm watching him. How many range creeps will die out of ROTK's grasp? Okay, he got there for the last 2.
All right, well that's something at least. So he does get his level 2 up. Mid lane, we've seen that Shadow Fiend's gotten off to a really hot start compared to the Sniper. 13-6 versus the 6-1, and that's what that early movement in from FY will give you.
That's true. It a little bit makes a lot of difference in this matchup just because of the nature of Shadow Fiend and his massive amount of souls. So he's sitting at 18 souls, and it is like 100 damage for him. It's quite nice.
And Kuro rotation will also be spotted though. That ward placed down very early on. Miracle should be able to have a decent time. So if Miracle does sort of get shut out a good amount by the Shadow Fiend, how much does that hurt the hero? Can he catch back up later?
If they can jump him with StarLadder and Ursa, he's going to have issues. So it's actually not super dependent on, I mean, if he has like Blink and like Hurricane Pike and all this nonsense, then yeah, he can escape. But I would say it's mostly on the opponent's not getting that. It's okay if he's not that farmed, if the Ursa and the StarLadder aren't that farmed as well.
Okay. And StarLadder, like we said, just sitting here a little bit longer. Maybe this isn't doing as much, but ROTK has sort of been resigned to jungle lane back now. Can go in.
That's a disaster.
Shrine, but this is it's a rough lane for ROTK. Doesn't seem to be getting a whole lot easier either.
Yeah, Underlord just not as strong at the early levels. Like maybe if he still had the level 1 atrophy aura from patch 7.01, he might have survived. But
on the other thing is that Lifestealer is one of those heroes that picks up a lot of plus damage armor, so atrophy aura even in the later stages isn't going to be doing as much as it was in the last game against the Terrorblade, and they still ended up winning that Terrorblade game. So really tough situation. They are going to be able to steal a bounty rune. FY doing his bestest, but still only level 1. Kind of a rough time for him.
Yeah, it's okay. Freeze is having an okay time. But I don't think they've been able to stack too much. It's more so that this bottom lane is just an absolute disaster for ViCi, as Rubik's getting free farm and free creep pulls. Lifestealer is getting a lot of free farm. There's going to be a lot of tower damage soon. And Underlord, I mean, you just don't want to be able to... Oh, actually, he's TPing down bottom. Okay, that's nice.
I was wondering, so considering that this has gone pretty rough and Aggressive's lane has gone well, he's on a hero that can maybe be a little bit aggressive himself. Do you think that they make a rotation down to try and gank the Lifestealer potentially at some point, or is that a little bit too hard to do?
That's too hard to do. That's a lot of time. Like, after that, what does he do? Right? Like, you might kill him, and then Lifestealer will TP back to lane, or just TP top or something else, and then Ursa's not going to get anything accomplished. I think you want to stay around this top area so that you can do Roshan ASAP. I think that's a much better way to force the Lifestealer to do something that he doesn't want to do.
Than failing a gank and just not getting anything out of it.
Yeah, it's not even guaranteed. Like, you can just rage and run away, and that's about the end of the story. ROTK in a lot of trouble on the bottom lane. Matumba Man right-clicking ROTK.
Oh, I believe in you, Observer. They got there in the time.
I believe in him.
Oh, it does look like ROTK is also going to be able to get out. So they don't do it. Matumba Man jumps inside of a creep, wants to get out of dodge as well, and we'll escape from there. Oh. Still, nothing really too much since those early kills on ROTK. It feels like he's righted the ship a little bit, and things are going slightly better for him. This is not great, but, you know, take what you can get at this point.
He's getting levels now, but as we saw from last game, like, it wasn't the best Underlord performance from him, dying constantly, you know, while getting farm.
Well, here's a rotation now. No points in Pit and Malice. It looks like they were just going to...
He's bottle refilling.
Okay. Being a helpful partner there. FY is in the mid lane with an invis, and this would be a big kill. It does look like Miracle in a little bit of trouble. Gets the 1-2 raise. Is he going to find a third? Doesn't matter. They get the kill regardless. And GH pulls back in the FY. StarLadder trying to take him down. They can't quite connect with the poison touch from Dazzle. And so he is going to be able to get out and away.
FY is doing a very good job of pressuring this sniper to getting all the runes so that he constantly has to live in fear. Is he hasted behind me? Is he invis on top of me? Like, is he gonna gank me when I'm trying to go for my shrine? Like, there's all these things running through the sniper's mind that, you know, he can't live and play freely. ROTK going to mess with Matumba Man a little bit, but FY is close. 99 seconds on that shrine. I don't think that's a place that they want to be.
It's a scary one indeed. I mean, Matumba Man is alone here, so it's not like they're really being in too much trouble, but for now at least, everything's sort of, for ViCi J, holding off until you can get those first couple of items, I would imagine, and get themselves some farm up and online. Oh, in the jungle, maybe? It's ROTK, real low. Is he going to go down? They kind of with the infest. Oh, Matumba Man, style points for that one, and gonna get ran down. Does he have rage? 4 seconds away. Trying to run. Can he get out? They are gonna be able to connect. Slow it down. Matumba Man get the bonus move speed, but he is going to die. Aggressive finds that kill.
Important. They need to slow down this lifestealer, or else he's gonna have way too many items.
They'll still open up a little bit of space here for Miracle in the mid lane. You can push this out and deal a little bit of chip damage on the tower before he heads out and away, but
double raise, dude.
That's gone. Never mind.
Double raise.
Pretty good. And they've kind of switched up the lanes a little bit now with rather aggressive hanging out down here on the bottom and thinking about diving. They drop the rock. No respect for GH.
See you later. Definitely worth it for him because they get a lot of tower damage with the rock. Like, rock's one of those things that you want to use ASAP. And for a support kill alone, no, but for support kill and tower damage, that's what you're talking about.
Matumba Man, this is very, very bold for him. He's going to need to jump inside. He's going to get the Centaur jump away, so able to survive from the damage coming out from aggressive, but they hold on to the tower and actually didn't do as much damage as they might have wanted, at least for now.
They're forcing a lot of people to come down here. FY very low and he keeps going in deep.
GH, FY, he finds the stun. That was so key and important. GH is going to go down, and Kuro might as well, trying to keep you out of there, it looks like, and, well, not going to happen.
Is that enough mileage out of the rock for you?
Yeah, that's more than enough. They sold me.
That's such a tough spot for Liquid. Like, do you TP and fight into the rock, or do you let the tower fall?
They kind of didn't do either.
Now it's easy to say,
right,
but
exactly.
20 seconds ago, they thought they could have fought there, and Lifestealer also thought he could man up and perhaps kill the StarLadder, but, you know, StarLadder has those tranquil boots, that little bit of extra armor, helping him out there.
Yeah. Again, it is some more space being made, at least for the moment, for that Centaur up in the top lane, for your sniper, and Lifestealer is already fairly farmed, but it's not looking completely amazing here for Liquid.
It was so important that Ursa came down there, because if he didn't come down there, he'd have his armlet, and if he has the armlet, he would have been able to kill the StarLadder right there during that push. They would have been able to defend that tower, so there's a lot of small things adding up to Liquid not having the best early game, despite Matumba Man getting off to a very hot start, killing ROTK 3 times.
Well, about 10-minute mark at this point. Still 3-5 is the score, and starting to feel like, is this a point where you start to rotate and make more of those for ViCi J, or is it Roshan time? Okay.
Ursa's Roche time very early on to the game. Pretty much whenever you get max fury swipes or you get lifesteal, and he has both right now, so it's definitely Roshan time. The problem is they don't have rock to support him just in case. They can get good vision inside the pit with the sniper. A lifestealer is like a very good hero to be able to run in, and they can have the Rubik in the back lines perhaps to even steal a rock of their own. So I'm pretty sure Liquid definitely want to contest this. They need eyes on Ursa. Ursa will reveal in the mid lane, so they know that nothing funny is going on as of yet. And it looks like Ursa is doing the same build that he did last game with the early Vlad. It's a tough call for Ursa, because generally you want lifesteal so you can do Roche easily, but it slows down your blink a lot committing to the full Vlad. So a lot of people just get the Morbid Mask. Some people just get Helmet Dominator. because it offers you health regen without.
Oh, they drop it again on Matumbo, man. It's going to go down to that.
That's a page.
Man. Oh, and they've also found GH, so 2 end up going down there. Wow. I mean, again, it's rock used for that one. They don't get a tower off of that, but they do find a huge kill.
The thing that's much different about this game, like, I think some of the panel were like talking about, oh god, Ursa, and myself too, questioning Ursa's viability in this game, is that he doesn't actually have like a timeline that he's worried about, because he's going to scale, I would say, equally to the lifestealer. Like, at any point in the game, he can deal with a lifestealer, just because of how Ursa is. Like you just trade rage with enrage, and you will generally destroy the lifestealer at any point. So you can kind of make him feel threatened. As opposed to last game, there's a point where Ursa's going to be useless versus Terrorblade. So like this game, he's in a much more comfortable spot, and Liquid are in a much less comfortable spot because they know that they can't just wait the game out. They actually have to fight head on.
Mind Control also ended up going for the pipe, I believe, and you know, this early item, it's going to make him a lot tankier. I guess that they're going to eventually be going back for the, or rather the hood. Sorry, he hasn't completed the pipe yet, but he might be going to finish that off. I don't know, do you think that they needed him to go for an early Blink Dagger here to try and make plays with the Lifestealer?
I think Hood's generally just very good, so you can double edge constantly during the fights.
I guess
and it gives you a lot of better lanes.
I guess the other thing is that since Matumbo Man was getting picked off there, he's not going to be able to hit the timing as hard, maybe. So
people like hitting their farming items first. So like let's say he wants Blink and Hood, you get the Hood first so you can farm both of them faster than going Blink and Hood. Like you would probably farm, like if you got Hood second, you probably get it like 2 minutes later. So farming items is generally pretty. It's like, you know, offlane sinking going for like a Blink first as opposed to Arcane.
Oh, well, they found ROTK, and a quick kill for that one, as
he's dead.
Big.
No chance.
And Miracle behind the tier 2, or tier 1 as well, is right-click and Fenrir with the tower already gone. I'm just going to back out again. It's
Ursa. The Ursa can't really threaten people because he doesn't have Blink. Like, right now he has 1,600 gold, but because, again, he committed to the Vlad, he's not really going to be able to chase people down so easily. And Miracle is in deep.
Well, they end up being able to get the Grave off, so he does escape for the moment, and Matumbo Man in a little bit of trouble as well. They do have the lift in the second that they wanted to use it, taking a lot of damage. The Ursa is getting the heals. Can he make it to the shrine? He does, and that means Liquid has to back out.
Yeah, Rock is up in about 10 seconds time if they want to pursue. However, Liquid's out of there. So do they actually want to do Roach now? Fenrir is a little low on mana. He can't actually cast Rock and Bonds or heal people up if he wanted.
You know, we're talking a lot about this Aegis, but they're making plays even without the Aegis up. So it feels to me as if, like, once that does come, Liquid just aren't going to have enough damage to burst through them all 2 times through.
FY has Blink 14 minutes in, and he's just been constantly running around doing his thing. That's quite impressive for FY, and I think they can. Yeah, it's time for Roach. They have minus armor from 2 different sources. This should be super easy. They also have the Shadow played onto SF. So a hero like Sniper, who generally feels probably pretty safe in the back, is going to have to start watching himself if Requiem is going to be online. Oh, there's the Blink reveal onto Miracle. They drop the Golem as well. Matumbo Man, well, they managed to get him out actually. Krill saving the day, and they take down FY. Not at all the way they wanted this to go, and now also in some trouble. The Ursa is going to drop. Solo is going to fall. That's the Aegis. Suddenly, it's all gone wrong for ViCi J. Matumbo Man finds another killing spree. Can't they get into range? Trying to take down that aggressive Ursa, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to catch up to him. Still great fight, though. Stampede is so good, and Sniper, he has, that's his best defense on top of having Grave, and that just proved too much for ViCi. They didn't have the Underlord, too. Underlord Dark Rifted in towards the tail end of the fight, but they could have surely used the mech to save the Ursa's first life, save the StarLadder, save the SF.
Miracle? Uh-oh. Well, heals from Dazzle, and that's the key to get out of there. FY, run away. I want to be here, little fishy.
ROTK hasn't been integrating as well with this team when he's been playing Underlord. Like the Knicks testing, it looked like they were, you know, he constantly had heroes around him to pick people off with him. He was constantly with his team for these team fights that were going to be happening. He had a better laning phase, but his last 2 performances on Underlord have been quite lackluster, and he has not been able to offer pretty much anything to his team.
And you have all of these extra burst damage now as well. The Echo Saber is there on the Lifestealer. They are going to be able to just jump and kill off Kuro. It's been a thorn in their side. You mentioned it early on in the game, how having to deal with that as the Ursa. But it does look like, at least for now, ViCi J. Oh, the big stop, the combo! Oh, see you later, ViCi J! There were some heroes there a second ago. Mind Control takes them out.
My God, that was absurd. Okay, 3 heroes dead. Clump up for a 3-man hoof stomp. That's what happens.
Let's stand together, guys, by the tower. I mean, you can understand it. It's one of those moments you don't expect the Mind Control to jump out, but it hurts to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, where did he even come from?
He was over there by the Ancients. But well, that certainly puts Matumba Man back on track in terms of his farming. He's currently top of the net worth with Centaur 3rd, and I mean, still, it feels like they've got most of the answers for ViCi J. How do you feel like they play out over the next couple of minutes? Like, with the Aegis now down, do ViCi J need to just wait out until the next one?
No, I think they have to keep fighting. I think, like, they just haven't been together as 5. Like, there's no Rock that's been in play for a lot of these engagements. There's no, like, Underlord that's been with them. Mostly ROTK, I would say, like, just hasn't been with them for the fights. And he is the mech carrier. He has that big old aura. He has a pit of malice that is supposed to be hell for a lot of cores to deal with. But, you know, I just haven't really felt his presence in this game. And ViCi probably are, like, wondering, we've been doing okay 4-on-5. We need to be 5-on-5 so we can actually win fights.
I mean, you now are in the situation, too, where a couple of minutes ago, that 5-man would have just been completely dominant. Now, it's still going to be hard to deal with, but it's not going to be uncontestable. Something that is uncontestable is that Matumba Man's going to drop down really quickly. That's
a big kill. They need to take a mid T1 tower off of this, though. Lifestealer was down for quite some time. 40 seconds should be more than enough for them to get an objective off of this. However, looks like T2 bottom will be their prize, but I mean, that tower has more HP, or it's more HP, and it's just, I don't know.
Not as important maybe for the like Roche taking that are eventually going to see as well.
Yeah, I think the mid T1 is more important personally, but
I'm looking at this too, and I'm wondering, like, when is the point for ViCi J where you start investing into some of those Midases, those items that allow you to get to the later game, because it's not feeling like they're going to be able to completely just run down all of the towers before things start to become tilting into the Liquid's favor further.
Oh, Warlock already has one.
No.
Underlord should not get one. Way too late for Shadowfiend or Ursa, so it's pretty much whether or not FY wants to do it. But FY usually goes for more team fighting, playmaking items, and not a Midas.
Oh, Ursa, this is a bad one. He has just gone so quickly. Fenrir is here, and if they want to try and make something happen, they can do it, but they're going to be able to get the lift up. Fenrir drops the golem, stolen immediately. Rubik throws it back in. Oh my God, GH played it this time. He's going to end up taking down another. Miracle with the double kill. ROTK does not want to live here any longer. He goes out, but he doesn't take the shadow feed. Triple kill for Miracle. Baby, that was beautiful.
I don't think that Fenrir has been particularly great with his positioning, both in this game and in the first game. Like, they needed the rock during the time that Ursa got bursted down. Like, it's a very small window, but that is their only save aside from Mech. And Mech really isn't going to save them from a Lifestealer bursting down. And chain feed continues, and T3 is almost certainly going to fall. And Mind Control has been playing excellently, I would say. Yeah, excellently to say the least. But yeah, they really need the rock to stop the combo breaker and deal with the rage for just like 1 second time. He needs it to not be stolen, and it's very difficult though for Stampede. Like, I can't really blame him for having it stolen, but needs to be a tad bit closer to his team.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a rough one. It's been a rough go, and I think that when you need so many things to go perfectly for your draft and for the team fight, you've sort of put yourself into a position where it's almost impossible to come out ahead anyways. Like, you can't rely upon the perfect rock to save you.
Normally it'd be okay though, because usually Ursa plays with Aegis, but they threw away the first one because they had a botched fight near the T1 tower.
Radiant's top tower is
Oh, FY. Spots out the trap and realizes he might not want to go up there, I imagine. But they're just continuing to sort of scout things out. This is sort of the quintessential Liquid, playing it safe, not wanting to overextend, and we'll see what their next move is. Is there anything that you feel like for them they really need to try and accomplish here? Do they need to deny the next Roshan? Is that
deny the next Roshan is definitely the next game plan. Like they're like ViCi is like kind of losing with first Rosh. If they don't have Aegis available, they can go ridiculously hard on the Ursa. And without the Ursa, they don't have that much damage because SF is super fragile right now. He doesn't have BKB. He is not going to have it for quite some time. He went for the Lance after the Shadow Blade. I personally think Silver Edge has a lot of merit here because you can break the Life Stealer so it doesn't chew your team apart. I think like they need as much damage mitigation as possible. They have like Atrophy Aura, they have Mech, they should have Greaves at some point. Actually, Underlord, he doesn't actually get Greaves that often on ROTK, but anyways, they have... Oh, well, ROTK is going to go down. They dropped the Golem. That was a good rock. Yeah, well played, and ROTK is going to drop now, I do believe. Well, Ursa turns it back around. They have the Fenrir Rock to come in, but they're just going to be able to save him. He jumps inside of the Golem that Kuro dropped, or excuse me, GH dropped. We got too many Rubik players. But he's able to escape from that one. Yeah, Fenrir, see, that's the kind of rock they needed for the Ursa. It's like, okay, as soon as you, like, one of your teammates get, you just drop in, and Pitlord lived for quite some time. They almost were able to grab the life time. 4 seconds. They're inside the pit with it right now. Can they really do it with the Life Stealer who's... yeah, actually, definitely they can. They don't have any minus armor, though, aside from the Blightstone. Well, he's going Manta on the Life Stealer. Very unusual pickup. You'll see Manta most often versus like Global Silence or Orchid, but there is no source of silence on the Dire side. So I think mostly he's using it for the Amplify and so he can actually deal with the Ursa. Like Ursa hates Manta style. Like it takes off the Earth Shock and it's going to take you too long to have more uptime on your target so that you can actually burst him down. Ursa, very single target oriented hero. I don't know if Liquid saw them back up there into the base, but the movement out now with the smoke. ViCi J are going to try and put themselves in a position to contest Roshan, and it looks like it's time to go as well for Liquid. They are weaved. They see Ursa, but they have to go through the smoke team in order to get to him. ROTK paused it. Oh, they got him right at the start, though. Can they take him down before everything else comes out? Where's Fenrir with the rock? They need it now. It's not coming. ROTK, he is going to go down. Kuro graves himself, jumps out and away. Fenrir does finally drop the walk. The Fatal Bonds are there as well, but it's not looking to be enough. Shadow Fiend ulti as well. Mind control real low, but he is going to be able to survive through it. Rubik also stole it for GH and threw it back at them. They take down another. The only person to go down so far has been the Rubik. It looks like Matumba Man continuing to try and chase here. It's going to be forced back and away. Fenrir, though, is going to go down. Too much damage from Miracle. The armlet toggles are there as well. And he's running out and away. Oh, terrible team fight for ViCi J. The sniper is just going crazy in these fights. Like, he probably wasn't even on the screen just because, like, of how little pressure he's getting thrown his way. The only person actually threatening the sniper a little bit is StarLadder. Ursa, can I get him? Shadow Fiend, can I get him? They are just in a lot of trouble when it comes to these team fights because the sniper is just pew-pewing them and dropping shrapnel to cover the ground, and they're getting kited after the initial volley of Blink Crush and the rock. All right. ROTK is doing a decent chunk of damage, but Dire kill, yeah. Snatch the Aegis. Not looking long for this world, though. It's going to end up dropping the Crush. They're able to force staff away Matumba Man. He is fine, and they kill off FY as well. Everything's gone to hell at this point. Mind control just pummels the Ursa in the face. 3 are gone. No buyback on several. This is looking like near to the end. Liquid's team play from their cores is just much, much better than ViCi J. Like, Mind Control and Matumba Man have been playing together for quite some time, and they like it shows, right? They're always together. They had the nice triple kill in mid. Or like, when has Shadow Fiend made a big play with someone else in this game? And I think I've seen like one Ursa StarLadder jump that's been a very important kill. And like last game too, like Ursa wasn't able to coordinate with any of his heroes. You need another hero to help you lock down heroes, so then you can actually get killed. Especially when you're dealing with Stampede, you're dealing with Brave. Like there's just not enough teamwork coming out from ViCi, and Liquid's 5-man is incredibly potent.
and they're just backing out again. I mean, you can see even there, dotting their I's, crossing their T's. They pop the dust to make sure that the Warlock doesn't jump them there, or realizing that he had that Shadow Amulet in the last fight, and they're fine. I mean, Shrines are going to go down now. They're going to have the Aegis for a while. If you're ViCi J, like, what's your sort of next step at this point? It feels as if pretty much everything you've tried to accomplish has failed throughout the game.
Our lines, they're looking very grim. Like, their avenues of victory is very, very low. I think they have to rely on a couple of liquid mistakes, but, you know, that's not something that you can rely on. So their best bet is to bait the Ursa out or the Underlord. Most likely the Ursa because he is enraged, so he can actually survive. Drop the rock, turn things around with a nice Requiem. Or what they can also do is try and kill the Dazzle really quickly so he can't grave someone, or kill someone quickly enough so fast that he won't have time to grave. But I don't think that Ursa has that kind of burst right now.
GH down there in the bottom just giggling to himself in that moment. He's just feeling good about himself.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's been playing well, exceptionally well in these past couple of games.
Well, top lane is now where the pressure is going to come. Tier 2 left standing both bottom and top, so they need to secure those first. It feels like Liquid are putting themselves in a position where they can end this game. ROTK is pushing along the bottom as well, so ViCi J at least are going to force some type of response at some point.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
At some point. Yeah. Maybe not. I mean, Liquid don't seem like they really care that much at all. They could potentially even just go for high ground.
So they have 2 BKBs on the side of ViCi, so perhaps these are the team fighting items that they actually need. The problem is, I think Lifestealer will just eat you alive. Like, he already does a ton of damage, and then on top of that you have the Stampede to get him around, you have the Centaur to actually carry him into the fight, and you have the Weave for even extra damage on those ViCi heroes. And Weave used defensively, and we're talking about, like, you know, 30 armor.
Force staff into the crush. Nicely played. A good Warlock ulti comes out, but I'm sure if it's going to be enough. GH is going to be controlled, at least for the moment. They're on top of these force staff back out away, but is going to go down. Mind control being graved, and he does fall as well. So 2 down so far. Liquid need to back. And it looks like they should be able to... Oh, Miracle controlled. He's just troubled, but could be a bit of a change here. Can they get him out alive on time? Miracle's trying to run away. He's alive on nothing. The Grave comes out as well. McCumberman's going to drop Save Your Buddy syndrome. And Liquid, this is not the way it was meant to go. 5 dead and the Aegis to boot. Oh, Merlini, what happened there?
Well, they jumped the SF, but I don't think they knew that he had BKB. Like, they jumped him like he didn't have BKB because they use a lot of cooldowns. Of course, they have, you know, the blink, and then they kind of got caught with their pants down with an upheaval in a chaotic offering right outside their T3s.
And I mean, they did get the tier 3 there, but it's not exactly like it's the best thing in the world for them. You don't want to be feeding away this much gold, and now the Shadow Fiend is top of the net worth. Granted, you've got 5 heroes right behind him that are 4 of those the side of the Radiant, but I mean, Rubik just got Aghanim Scepter, for goodness sake.
You can't underestimate their damage though. Like, Amplify plus pressing the Dark Lord is going to start hurting if they can actually survive the initial burst. Like, most of these fights that Liquid have won, oh, that was close.
That was real close.
That was pretty close. Most of these fights that Liquid have won, they just, like, immediately eliminate 1 or 2 people at the start with the Infest Bomb with Rage. But, you know, if Fenrir's there with a rock, if they have, like, a Force Staff to kite the person who got stunned, like, these small things are going to make a big difference in the start of the team fight.
Yeah, I guess that's something to consider, is that we haven't seen ViCi J fight the way that their entire lineup is meant to be yet.
They're actually coming together, though, like, at that top defense. Yeah. And now ROTK has a Force Staff himself. So, multiple Force Staffs to deal with the Infest Bomb. If they can kite the Lifestealer's Rage and not lose anyone during the first Rage, I think they're off to a good start.
Alright.
Now they have a Basher on Ursa too, so they can actually heavily limit the Lifestealer's damage output during the Rage.
It does look like he had queued up an MKB for a moment. Kind of interested to see if he wanted to go back for
really
MKB, but
on Ursa? I don't think that's the item he's going to get next. I mean, he has a quick buy, but
yeah.
Is the Solar Crest that big of a deal that he's going to get MKB? I suppose maybe.
I mean, it's frustrating if you have to invest that much into an Ursa to, you know, counter an item that costs so little for a support. I mean, granted, it's expensive-ish, but we're in a support, but I don't know. Definitely rough. Smoke up in the top lane, Liquid moving in. They want to try and rush this, it looks like, and just take down the barracks since they do have creeps inside the base.
They're just waiting for someone to defend. It looks like it will be FY, but FY showing a lot of composure. He TP'd in, but he's waiting for the rest of his teammates in before he goes out to farm. That is a sign of a very experienced player, and he knows that, okay, yeah, if we can beat 1 by 1, we're just going to chain feed. So they wait for most of their team to get there before they actually start killing the creeps. That's a very important, but they could have just lost the game right there.
Well, I mean, they need to be careful because you still don't have everybody back from ViCi J. I don't think they all did TP now.
I mean, there's 4 heroes and multiple 4 staffs, so I think that are pretty safe. And there's Rock and Glimmer on Warlock. So you have like Rock, multiple 4 staffs, and that hero should live.
Okay. So, good composure there, ViCi J. They're able to hold off and defend against everything that comes their way.
Yeah, it's a very common mistake though. Like, you send one person back to defend when they could be setting up a trap. So, you know, that's a good sign.
I think that happened in one of the series earlier today in that Naga game, if I'm not mistaken, actually. But in the meantime, top lane, they need to be careful. Initiation could come now. GH drops it down. Yeah, you talk about those. Still the Rock there to hold them back.
He needs to make sure he doesn't get Rock stolen. Rock with the Ags is going to be very difficult for them to deal with if he manages to steal it.
Is there anything else that would be really key? I guess Shadow Fiend Aghanim.
Shadow Fiend Westgame is very huge.
Yeah.
What else is big? I don't think Upheaval is that great. Fatal Bonds is really good too.
Well, they're going to go in and I guess just hit the barracks, it looks like. A couple right clicks there on top of it, and they do need to respond to this at some point. Hit a Malice down. Tumbleman's just going to be able to back out though, as Crush not going to hit. And GH, where did he steal this time? He got himself Crush as well.
Centaur Stomp plus Telekinesis plus Crush. That's a lot of lockdown. You might not be able to power your BKBs in time with this recent pickup.
The other thing to keep in mind though is that we did see Freeze pick up the Butterfly now. So evasion on Shadow Fiend's going to make him a lot harder to take down. We saw that initiation on him last time. That on top of BKB makes him nigh unkillable.
He also hits very hard. He has a level 20 talent, a +2 damage per soul. So his right click damage is approaching 400 damage. He is currently sitting at like around 390, 380 damage.
And again, just a very tense moment here for Liquid because
Roche is up though.
It feels like if you try and go in on any of these guys, you end up giving up Roche by, you know, throwing away a couple lives. So they're going to back out, play it safe. Still maybe a bit bold to go for Roche right now, but they'll take it quickly.
Not that bold. They were camping outside ViCi's base for a good, what, 3 or 4 minutes? So ViCi, they can't really approach that area. They don't have any vision in the area. Liquid have multiple sentries in the area, so like ViCi have to gamble pretty much. Like if you think they're doing Roche, you might just walk into a trap and just instantly lose a hero as you approach the high ground. So it's not really something that they could have prevented unless they gambled at the perfect time, which would be a crapshoot.
And they'll get this D ward as well here. So any of those wards that do even get placed down, not going to stay up for long. Like there's a little bit of issues going on with Liquid. Of course, want to make sure that everybody has the game going perfectly for themselves. But at this stage, it does sort of, to me at least, feel like Liquid are right on the brink of taking it. What's that perfect initiation, or what's the way that ViCi J pull it back? Is it still dependent upon Liquid making a mistake?
It depends on how Liquid wants to approach the high ground push.
Okay.
So there's 2 different ways. One is, I guess there's 3 different. One is you catch someone outside of base, okay, because they're like split pushing, trying to defend and whatnot. You kill someone and you take it 5-4. That's pretty simple. Another one is you rage siege. So you just right click with a life stealer. That's kind of what they did just a second ago. You right click every time you have rage. It's very safe, but at the same time you don't really have a good opportunity for pick off because you won't have an infest. And the third one is infest bomb inside mind control so that you can go for like a 1 or 2 man pick before the fight actually starts. So they've tried multiple ways. I don't actually know which one's the best for them. It depends on how ViCi plays. If they play very aggressively and push out the lanes, yeah, you pick them off. But playing pretty safely inside the base, waiting for someone to get jumped. So I think Rage Siege is probably the way to go here, especially because he has Aegis, so they can't all in on him with Ursa.
I guess the thing that might be a little bit scary about that eventually is when Ursa picks up an Abyssal Blade, being able to like break through that and then put him out of position.
They have Grave.
Okay, yeah, that's still a thing.
They have Grave and then he can cheese after. So yeah, I think Matama Man just walks up Rage Sieges and they can't do that much about it unless Ursa puts himself in a very bad spot.
Looks like they're ready to go for it. He's going to right-click ROTK and back out for the moment. This does always get a little bit precarious, though, sort of in these moments between rage. And, of course, ROTK just spamming out Firestorm as well.
Yeah, they also have Miracle to aid in the tower siege damage. So here, Matava Man sending his illusions to mid, try and get that lane out a little bit more. He does have rage up. They certainly notice that he has cheese right now.
Oh, Crush. Matava Man gets the rage off, able to walk through. Gonna hit onto it, but a lot of damage coming in from Shadow Fiend, and he is forced to back out now.
Yeah, that Shadow Fiend hits really hard. They did also manage to get that shrine use. I would say by far the most important shrine for this particular set of frags.
Yeah. And now it's not really even easy for Miracle to stay down here and try and pressure it out. We really gotten to the point where we're sending the illusions of even a life stealer into Siege. I mean, my goodness, I thought this was only Luna and this stuff.
Well, the problem is, like, he tried to go in for the rage siege, but they actually have a lot of single target damage through the rage with the amplified damage. So normally you feel pretty safe, but when they have a range hero that does heavy amount of right clicks that the life stealer can't actually get to, you're not going to be able to get that much damage. So, you know, they try one of the options now. They can fall back on perhaps one of the other two.
I mean, I guess the other thing is that with the Manta style there, you can take off the stuff continuously, but
yeah, he had to use it earlier.
Right. That's the issue with that last siege also.
Yeah, they could try it again with saving the Manta. I think that might actually be a pretty good option.
Oh, Firestorm down.
Oh, Sniper's out. So that push is pretty much over until maybe the tail end of the Roshan, I suppose, of the Aegis. They still have 2.5 minutes left on it.
I mean, they're still going to be able to out-farm ViCi consistently as well. That's the other side of this, is that we're going to continue to see it as another pause comes out. I'm sure everything is fine. Going to be fine, guys. Voice lag. But it does sort of feel like maybe you have to go back to that, find a pick offer. Like if they were going to get to the point where they could just go for like a high ground break, what would be the item needed?
It's not an item.
No, it's not. It's just
like what, like maybe Centaur Ags is the only one that I think will make a very, very big difference going on to the later game. But everything else is just, you know, minor upgrades here and there.
No. Well, a little bit of a pause, of course. Some issues. Want to make sure that everything is working well for all these players. They've put on a good series so far. I've been impressed. What have been your thoughts on each of these two teams? You got Liquid coming in, perhaps one of the favorites, ViCi J, maybe one of the underdogs, but a team to watch. Do you feel like the series has impressed you in either way?
I think that Liquid is continuing to show high individual prowess as well as good chemistry, but sometimes their drafts are a little bit wonky and not particularly suited for this particular patch. And I think the Keeper Light, I think, was play from GH was particularly good. And I think on the side of VGJ, they just have some individual play issues. Like Free's not really delivering, I would say, in the last half of last game. ROTK having a terrible early game, this game and last. I don't know. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with both of these teams, though.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what happens as we see the rest of them that face off against each other. Of course, a little bit later on today, we're also going to be taking a look at the DC versus Wings rematch as well from TI. Always great to see that one. And then the winner of this game actually is going to face the winner of that series. So a whole lot more great Dota 2 to come, just a little bit, as soon as we are able to finish off this game. Look at this guy. He looks amazing. Been playing Centaur like a champ.
He has been.
I've been pretty impressed with my controls play consistently. I think that he's been sort of that. Oh my goodness, they're yelling. I feel like he's sort of been that steady force in the team that's always been performing up to standards.
I also think that he can play a lot of different heroes. Like he can play the Initiator, like the Centaur of this game. He was pretty well known for his Faces of Wade back in the day, but he can also play like the heavy farmers too, like Timbersaw and Nature's Prophet. I think he's also very, very good at. So he can play multiple styles of offlane, which I think is incredibly impressive.
Yeah. And of course, from ViCi J, we've been seeing a bit of a break from what we saw from them in the qualifiers. I think that particularly game number 1, the draft, where they decided to take that coddle first and then, you know, steal it away from Liquid, it's been so important for them in a lot of their games. You know, just showing a willingness to experiment and try new things, definitely necessary. I think that they could end up upsetting and maybe making it through.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they win this or lose this, let's say, it's the other side of the bracket's going to be very, very difficult.
Now, both DC and Wings.
Yeah, it's not really teams that you want to face.
There's a lot of good teams in this event. I think that's what we're saying. So it's the reason that a winner of this is definitely, I mean, particularly for several of these teams like Liquid, you're looking at a direct invite through the major qualifiers, really important stuff. But I'm sure this is all going to get taken care of in a second.
Voice lag.
What does that mean to you?
Probably you talking to voice IP chat or voice chat and it's like way too slow or something like that. I don't know. Maybe some ping issues with the TeamSpeak server or whatever they're using.
Yeah. I think that I remember somebody talking about like that a couple of them you're not able to use in China, several of the voice speak servers. I'm not sure about that. But that some of the teams were just using like in-game comms, which to me sounds awful because I don't really.
It's not that bad. If you use open mic.
Yeah.
I mean, you either use open mic or push talk for your normal like voice over IP software, so you can just do it in game too.
Okay.
I don't think it's that bad. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's that bad doing in-game comms. But you know, if you're not used to it and you have a very particular way of communicating or something like that, then maybe it's not the best.
Yeah. A quick disconnect. Maybe we'll hear word as to what exactly is going on there, but should still be fine there. As far as you know, what we're expecting to see over the next couple minutes, thinking back to the game. Obviously, we're not able to look at it right now, but are you feeling like at this point Liquid are just so in such a dominant position because ViCi didn't get what they wanted that it's pretty much in the bag for them, or is it sort of a?
It's not in the bag. They still have to play carefully. I think it's a similar position to ViCi Gaming in game number 1, where they have a very big advantage. It was a 2-Rex at that point, but they just have to be careful about how they approach the high ground. So you can't just do it recklessly and carelessly and be like, oh yeah, we're very tanky. We have enough items. We can just do it, right? You have to be very cautious because high ground defense, especially with multiple shrines up, is always going to prove to be difficult. Like even a hero like Sniper has trouble hitting the racks. Like we've seen that he doesn't really feel comfortable hitting from like 900, like 1,000 range away. So how's a hero like Lifestealer supposed to feel very comfortable hitting it from melee range?
Yeah, and I guess maybe the thing that they go next time is maybe you'll have level 25 talent at that point for Sniper, and you can go for the extra range and then throw the Aegis on him as well, so he can start sieging. But could still be tough.
Yeah, he actually does have the Aegis. The Lifestealer has the cheese.
Oh right, okay.
So like eventually he's gonna get to the point where he's very, very farmed, and like they have to address the Lifestealer and the Sniper. Right now, like a Sniper's like not super farmed, so they can kind of ignore him while they deal with the Lifestealer. But eventually he's gonna be an issue, and the supports are gonna get destroyed.
Well, still a little bit of waiting time as we are hoping to hop back into this game. 36 minutes in. The Aegis, not sure exactly how much longer it has before it's going to be up and online, but we're also seeing GH has an Octarine core queued up on the Rubik. He's got Blink, Force, Ags, Ghost, and now is queuing up an Octarine. This guy is very farmed.
Yeah, I don't actually know how he got so farmed. I guess he's been stealing Firestorm a lot, but still doesn't make up for that much gold.
Trying to.
We need Slacks here to fill time.
I mean, I didn't want to say it, but
he's actually one of the best people I know at just filling time for whatever unexpected reason that it may be. He always has something random to talk about, which is great.
Yeah. I don't want to try and imitate Slacks, but I will try to fill time. I feel like that's sort of one of those traps that you can fall into.
What, imitating other people?
Yeah.
That are better than you or something?
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, I guess.
I meant more just in like trying to get into the mind of Slacks. That sounded terrifying.
Oh yeah, that's that's difficult.
Mm-hmm. It could be a series in and of itself. But yeah, it's still a lot of room to grow on these heroes as well. Looking at it. Does look like. Okay, getting word that the TeamSpeak server dropped completely, and that's why it is that they're not able to play anymore. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess it was sort of dropping in and out throughout the game, and then eventually it just dropped completely.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, do you have at this point in time, do you have a favorite for the tournament as a whole? You got somebody that's really sticking out to you?
Easily OG right now.
Unfortunately, there is a little bit of an issue also with our view screen right in front of us where we can't spot out what the rest of the crowd is seeing currently. But I'm sure it looks beautiful. I hear that there's some highlights going on out there from the rest of the game.
We have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy.
You could be looking at us.
That's true.
Or anything, really.
Yeah, there's a
We
green
wouldn't
screen.
know.
There's some bars there. Looks like a disco. Great. We went out pubbing last night. That was a great experience as well.
I did not meet my arch nemesis D-Stones.
D-Stones, for anybody that doesn't know, is a high MMR player on the Chinese servers.
He's number 6.
He's number 6, really?
He's number 6. Shadow's number 1.
That's pretty insane. And I mean, the thing that's nuts about it too is that you play in these pubs, and it is just a completely different brand of Dota from what you experience in most of the other regions.
It's because NA's terrible.
Well, yeah.
At pubs.
But I mean, it's also like even in like EU pubs and stuff, it's different from that as well.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's 5-manning and try-harding, and we ran into a couple of.
We ran into a guy with 6,500 party MMR.
We didn't win.
We didn't win. We were close.
That was pretty close. The other thing that's pretty cool about around here is these LAN cafes. You go in, you can order up some food, you can order up some drinks, you just sit in there, you hang out, you play Dota for a long time. It's like a very social experience, and there's other teams that are, or other guys that are in there that are playing games that are different, so it feels like just very social. It's nice.
Much different than our culture.
I know. We should open up a series of LAN cafes together.
I mean, people have tried. I don't know why it's so prohibitively expensive in the States. It's like every place I go to is like $10 an hour. Like I could like not do that and feel pretty good about not losing $10 an hour when I could just play in my room for, cents.
Yeah, I wonder if it has something to do also, maybe like not everybody having a computer or something. Is that part of it?
But that doesn't make sense why it would be so much cheaper for them to do it. If it's cheap, like I guess it's still cheaper relative for the people that don't have computers to go to LAN cafe, but it still doesn't make sense why the LAN cafe is so much cheaper than the US.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's not like we can buy computers here for like $100. That doesn't make sense, right?
No, that's true. I think that it's just like maybe land also is different. No, it's expensive as hell around here.
Yeah,
too.
land's very expensive.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's rough.
Do we care about markup that much in the States? I don't think so. I think the volume is just so low that like they have to charge more to break even.
Maybe also because, like you saying, like everything's spread out a little bit more in the States is the other thing. Like whereas you have these huge centers of people that want to play games together and make sure that their connection is really solid and stable as well.
Yeah, I guess just the demand is really low.
Yeah. Talking econ and Dota.
But isn't demand low doesn't mean that your prices are supposed to be low too? Because demand's so I don't know.
Well, there's difference of quantity demanded versus aggregate demand. All right, I'm done. I'm not gonna go there.
Yeah.
It's an interesting little quandary. I heard an idea. I think it was Roland who was telling me this. He wanted to build a PC that had one central cooling system in like the center of it, a custom case, and then had the PC parts all surrounded it. So you just had one cooling center for like 5 different PCs that are all connected together, and it would be like a LAN cafe PC. You picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah. But I don't think the cooling is the prohibitively expensive part of the thing. Oh, sorry, what's the point of it? I just assumed it was a cut.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. Is that cooling was the most expensive part of it?
Is it?
I don't know. I don't build computers.
I don't think it is. I mean, I built a computer before, and it's not like, oh my god, these fans are so expensive, I can't build one.
Yeah.
That's not what went through my mind. The graphics card, like, you know, an upper end one can be like half your PC budget.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, I don't know.
Calling out Roland. He's
No,
wrong.
I'm just curious.
No,
maybe it wasn't for cost.
Yeah, it could be something else as well. And maybe it just looks cool too. It'd be like an octagon case, the octagon computer. Get some like sponsorships in from UFC. You don't look impressed.
That doesn't sound terrible.
Yeah. It'd be pretty cool.
But if I were a businessman, I would not invest in an octagon.
No.
Whatever it may be.
Well, still waiting here. We did hear a go from somebody and then a sec from the other team. So we're still waiting, but I do believe that be underway shortly. Obviously very frustrating for these teams, I'm sure, to not be able to just hop into it, but you got to make sure it's all working according to plan.
I think it's way worse for ViCi than for Team Liquid, because ViCi, they have to make sure that they don't make one mistake or they'll just lose the game.
Right.
And when you're in this position, you constantly have things running through your mind about what you can't do. Like, you can't get picked off outside of base. You need to push out the lanes, but you can't be too careless, or you can't be in a place where they might drop a reserve ward on the high ground and just drop you with the infest bomb. Like, there's so many things that, like, they built up for the past 10, 15 minutes to actually still be in this game, that it's very easy to lapse back into, oh, what am I not supposed to do? Because there's so many more things that they're not supposed to do than Team Liquid. Liquid have a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
Aegis cheese, better items, better position, so on and so forth.
Yeah, and I think that that's something that it always is going to favor one side over the other, but kind of sucks at this moment. And still sort of looking like it doesn't really feel like there's going to be that much movement along the way. We are getting our TV fixed, which is amazing. I'm loving that. That's the bestest.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah?
Well, I look at my PC.
There's moments where I had to look at your PC as well, but it was all good and dandy. Freeze also, the Shadow Fiend, getting closer and closer to his level 25.
Mediocre. I think his level 20 talent's actually better than his 25.
Really?
Level 20 talent gives him like 100 damage almost.
I guess
2 damage per soul.
Do you rate very highly? Oh my god,
oh,
are we
yeah.
actually getting back into this game?
Yo, that's one of the best talents, dude. Plus 2 damage per soul. If you get Ags, it's godly.
All right,
Right
well,
now it only gives him 72, but if you had Ags.
I don't have my TV, so I'm casting off of your shoulder right now for the
Sure.
moment. As it looks like movement back in are going to be fine for the moment, as Matumba Man and Kuroki have all just sort of backed out to the river and everything reset. You don't want to try and step up too quickly after this.
Yeah, you need to get your head back in the game after what was a rather long pause. But Matumba Man will be taking out the last remaining shrine outside of the base for ViCi. And it looks like Aegis is going to expire in 1 minute and 53 seconds. So I think Liquid can actually make a maneuver at least at the bare minimum towards T2 on bottom, and very likely the T3 on bottom too, just because I think it's pretty easy for them to take it out, just because Sniper can be in a pretty good position.
Well, they're all grouping up now into the area. Matumba Man is...
Wow, they want to defend this. I think that's crazy. I think you're just like, you know, screw this tower. I'm out.
Well, they have the defensive weave now down as well. FY, it's so hard to approach against that.
How are they thinking about engaging this?
Yeah, this seems kind of suicidal at this stage.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, the pause was long, but not that long. They just kind of forgot the position that they were in.
Well, the tier 2 about to go down, and I mean, I think thankfully for ViCi J, they don't end up fighting there.
That's not a fight that you want to take. You will get destroyed.
Oh, FY, they jump away. Good decision right there for him to back out. That could have been also terrible for them if they had ended up getting caught there. So we talked about it a lot during the break, but for ViCi J at this point, what's the big play for them as far as
Same thing as before. Wait for someone to be out of position, drop a rocket. ROTK is going to be the one out of position.
Yeah, gets caught back in. The weave is down, but they're already dead. FY out of there, and maybe going to be able to find a bit more if they're not careful. ROTK going down. They get a good rocket. Going to be able to bring down Kuro. Nicely played there as well. But comes in, goes to the man to dodge, trying to back out and away. But Ursa on top of eats the teeth. Can he survive? Is not able to take down ROTK. Just barely left alive, but now Sniper just hitting away to peeping fools in the woods. Can he take them all down though? The Dark Rip, it is going to be able to get out. It's only ROTK who escapes. Everybody else is gone. And now they're on top of another. That is aggressive. Gone. Buybacks need to come in mass, but they're going to be missing 2 of them.
He died to Firestorm while Armlet toggling. That's a shame. I'm actually surprised they gave the Aegis to Sniper. Because usually you give it to your like tower hitter / person who's going to be in the most peril. And as we've seen from these fights, Miracle's kind of free to do kind of whatever he wants, whereas Matamaman is the one who's constantly worried about dying. He got his cheese off that fight, but it still looked like he was going to die before he popped it.
Oh, definitely. And, I mean, now you're sort of in this awkward position where no, they actually are going to try and go for something here. Ursa jumps forward, and they've got him controlled. Hurricane Pike as well, doing a good bit of damage. The Stolen Pit of Malice gets thrown back against him. GH is just a menace.
Yes, indeed. Quite the menace. Oh, Miracle! Oof. Oh, I thought they might have had a way to stop his TP, but nope, got too excited.
Oh, the Shadow Fiend is going for this. And Kuro tries to go to the low ground, wasn't able to quite find it. Is just going to run away now, goes for the self-grade, Pit of Malice down as well. And there's no way out for him here.
Poor Kuro. FY did buy back for that last fight, but you know, not a big deal for the support StarLadder.
Yep. ROTK and oh, they actually have caught out aggressive, and they forced the BKB TP.
He has the enraged on Rubik.
That's actually pretty value right there.
Yeah, the 80% damage reduction is crazy good.
And he has Ags as well now, so can take himself out of stuns. Like, good stuff. But still, there's not really a whole lot changed here, I think, as far as the game is concerned. Do you need to now wait for the next Roshan since you have Aegis up for Liquid, or what's the big move for them?
There's no huge move. The Aegis is important, but I don't know if it's important enough to wait a few more minutes for them. I guess so. I mean, it's so close at this point that you might as well. They didn't really get that much damage on the T3. I think they can easily take out this range racks on top, but the range racks on top is probably not worth the effort at this point, because they would have to push out the lane, kind of pause for 5 heroes up there just to get a range rack. It's not worth it.
No. Oh, they did end up finishing off the Butterfly for Sniper. And I believe Ursa did go MKB earlier. Is that this game, or am I thinking of a different one? No, he didn't go for it this game.
He didn't go for it.
Yeah. So another way to keep Miracle alive in these fights.
Oh, they almost have Scepter on Centaur. Actually, they do in 25 gold. That's actually quite scary.
He won't have buyback with it, of course, but
I mean, he really shouldn't die.
Man, getting really aggressive there again onto ROTK. He's just not afraid at all with all these items. Like,
he is enraged too.
Yeah. Force, Ghost, Enrage, all of these things. I mean, currently the 5th most farmed hero in the game, above the Ursa.
Oh wow, Ursa is very poor.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. But with that Centaur Ags now up and online, this might be the moment where they can go for that push up the high ground with Miracle there, peeking on the low ground. Make the plays they need. The gem is going to be passed over as well, over to the Rubik. So the big initiation that we're looking for from ViCi J, in your opinion, what's the move for them? Is it like, do you have to focus down one hero in particular at the start of the fight?
They would love to kill Sniper. I think Dazzle is very important, especially if he doesn't get Weave off. Weave is, I mean, it sounds boring, but it's actually a very important spell in these fights too. It's like, you know, plus minus 20 armor on, you know, 5-6 heroes.
Yeah, well, in some ways, to me, it almost feels like then you have to make a smoke play out to try and pick them off, because they've been weaving before they even really go up to high ground.
Yeah, but it's also like, you know, if Ursa like blows all his cooldowns, like his Blink, his Rage, his Abyssal on a hero that just gets graved, you're probably going to lose a fight.
Yeah.
So it's very important that they actually allow the Ursa to kill people, and that's where killing the Dazzle potentially comes in. But at the same time, they do have the Centaur Axe to even help out the Dazzle. ROTK gets chomped.
Well, they throw back out the rock. That's going to keep him alive for the moment. Matumba Man rages. They are going to have the Ursa under control, taking a lot of damage. The sniper jumped upon by FY. Not sure if it's going to be enough to take him down, though. Matumba Man on top of that FY StarLadder. They kill him off. The Bear trying to also take down Miracle. It's not going to happen as we get Grave out as well. GH just stolen the Requiem. Throws it back in their face. They can't take down Miracle alive on 78 HP. Throws out the Assassinate. Takes down the Shadow Fiend. And then Mirror to boot. Everybody gone and only 2 buybacks for ViCi J.
Man, it was GG. So hard to kill the sniper there. Like the defensive stampede too. They tried. I think the Shadow Fiend went pretty good items to try and kill him too with the MKB to deal with that immediate butterfly. But at the end of the day, Liquid's teamwork is just far superior.